Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Fatma Nasir from University of Education, Lower Mall Campus, Lahore. The subject is Evolution and Principle of Systematics. And the main teacher for this subject is Dr. Muhammad Mudassir Shehzad from Division of Science and Technology, Township Campus, Lahore. Today we are going to discuss about Practical 3, that is preparation of keys for the identification of specimens. Students, as you know that we have discussed two practical related to this subject. In the first practical we have discussed about the general characteristics and classification of organisms. Then in the second practical we have discussed about the preservation, collection, preservation and identification techniques of the specimens. And now in this third and last practical we are going to discuss about how to prepare the keys for the identification of specimens and how different keys are useful for us for the identification. So let's start with today's lecture. First of all, what is the key? A key is a biological device which enables one to identify an organism by progressively opting between two alternative observable characteristics. A taxonomic key is a simple tool used to identify a specific object. We have discussed about keys and its different types in our previous lectures, that is taxonomic procedures and taxonomic keys. In those lectures we have read or discussed about keys and their types in detail and how the different keys are helpful for the identification of organism. So key is basically a thing by which we can identify an organism by making the possible choices or making observable characteristics. So in the key we make characteristics or choices by observing the organism, and by selecting one choice at each step and by rejecting the other statement we can recognize a organism. The key consists of a series of choices based on observed features of the specimen. It provides a choice between two contradictory statements, resulting in the acceptance of one and rejection of the other. As I have just told you, that key is something in which we make a series of choices or series of statements or characteristics. What are those choices, statements and characteristics? Those choices and statements are observed features of the specimen which we want to identify. So by visualizing the physical characters of that organism, you can identify the organism by making appropriate characteristics at each step. So in each character at each step we make two contradictory statements, okay? And we accept one statement and reject the other, and in this way ultimately at the end of the key, by making the alternative choices, we can identify the desired organism. Now, what is the couplet and lead? A single pair of contradictory statements is called a couplet. Each statement of a couplet is termed as a lead. As you can see in the image, this is the image of a couplet. The couplet is having two contradictory statements. A statement has two antennas and the statement B has four antenna. As you can see that there are two contradictory statements in this couplet. So each of this statement is termed as a lead. Both if we are reading both of the statement, then this will make a couplet, and if you are reading or considering just one statement of the two, then it is called a lead. By making the correct choice at each level of the key, one can eventually arrive at the unknown name of the unknown specimen. So at each and every step of the key we have one couplet, and from one couplet we accept one statement or one lead and reject the other lead, and in this way we can identify our unknown specimen. Why the keys are constructed? Keys are constructed so that the user is presented with relevant information in a structured form. Basically, the key is basically key is like a diagrammatical representation of something, in which we not draw anything. We use characteristics to identify the organism. So it is in a structured form, it is in a neat diagrammatical presentation, so it's easy to use the information in the structured form, so that it will be easy for the user to identify the organism by writing the observable features of the organism in a sequential manner, and then the user leads to the identification of organism. This allows to skip over the many species that do not possess certain characters, and is supposed to lead the user to a correct identification with a minimum number of steps. So obviously at the each step of the key, we consider one statement or accept one statement or one lead, and we reject the second one. So by rejecting the second one, the undesirable species are rejected, and we can easily access to the correct information of our organism. Types of taxonomy keys. There are two types of keys: dichotomous key or the polyclave keys. Polyclave keys are also called as multiple access or synoptic key. So let's discuss the types of keys one by one with their examples. The first type of key is dichotomous key. Keys in which the choices allowed two alternative couplets are known as dichotomous key. Di means two. So in the dichotomous key, we have two alternative choices at each step for the identification. In constructing a key, contrasting characters are chosen that divide the full set of possible species into smaller and smaller groups. The statements typically begin with the broad characteristics and become narrower as more choices are required. Each time a choice is made, a number of species is eliminated from consideration, and the range of possible species to which the unknown specimen may belong is narrowed. So it means that when you are constructing a key by observing the notable features of the organism, what you do, you make a series of choices at each step. Okay, and at each step you are accepting one character and rejecting the other character. It means that at each step you are eliminating one species which does not belong to the characteristics of your organism which you want to study. So in this way, at each step, by eliminating one by one statement, the range of the possible characteristics or choices become narrow. Obviously at each step the choices will become lesser now, because you are opting one and because you are opting one and considering one and eliminating the other one. Eventually, after sufficient choices have been made, their range reduces to a single species, and the identity of the unknown organism is revealed. Dichotomous comes from the Greek root dik, meaning to, and tamnion, meaning to cut. So obviously at each step we are eliminating one species, so at the end of the key we will have just one key, and just one species or one organism left, and that species or organism will be the identified organism. Couplets can be organized in several forms by using numbers or by using alphabets. As you can see in the table, numerical couplets and alphabetical couplets. So simply, if you are organizing your couplets by using numbers like 1, 2, 3, that will be called as numerical couplet. And if you are organizing your couplets by using alphabets A, B, C, D, then that will be called as alphabetical couplet. Now, construction of dichotomous key. How to construct a dichotomous key? There are three steps for the construction of dichotomous key. Let's discuss them one by one. Number one step is necessity of using a dichotomous key, or why dichotomous key is necessary. Number one, used to identify organism quickly and accurately. Number 2, by following the statements in the key, we are able to identify each organism on the basis of a characteristic which is not to be found in other specimen. When using a dichotomous key to identify specimens, it is preferable to use immutable features, that is, features that do not change. This thing we have discussed in the previous lectures also, that always use the characters that are constant or regular. So do not use the characters which are seasonally occurred. We should always use the immutable features that do not change. Size, coloration and behavioral patterns may all vary among individual and across lifetimes. So size, color and behavioral patterns can also change, so they should also not considered in the dichotomous key. Physical structures, that is number of limbs, and biological processes, reproduction methods make better characteristics. Second step in the construction of dichotomous key is the rules which should be followed. Use observable characteristics only, means the characters which you can see with your eye. Second is start with major characteristics, placing organism into two groups at each stage. Like if you are going to make a dichotomous key for kingdom Animalia, then first of all you will make the two couplets after writing kingdom Animalia, that is vertebrates or invertebrates. So vertebrate and invertebrate is a large group na, so it is making major character. Number 3 is use a single characteristics at a time. Obviously we should use a single character at one time for the better understanding. Number 4 is use contrasting characters at each stage. For example, tall and short. Avoid repeating the same character. The third step, steps for the construction of key. Third step is basically divided into two subcategories or two steps. The first step of this is analyze your specimen, and the step 2 is create the key. In the step 1 we have three categories. List the characteristics of your specimen, look for principle of exclusion, determine the most general characteristics. So at the third step of constructing the key, first of all you will analyze your specimen. It means that you will observe the specimen which you are having for identification. So first of all you will list all the characteristics which you can see visually in that organism. You can write all those characters at a page or anything. Then look for the principle of exclusion. Then by making the two contradictory statements at each step, obviously you will exclude or eliminate one statement, and then determine the most general characteristics and then create the key. Now let's discuss step 1, that how to analyze the specimen. The first step of analyzing your specimen is list the characteristic of your specimen. Start by considering the specimen you are trying to identify and insert into a dichotomous key. Note characteristics that define the things you are looking at and start listing them out. If you are trying to create a dichotomous key for a series of animals, you might see that some has feathers, some swim, some walk on legs, etc. So simply write down all the characteristics which you can see in the organism. For example, if you are trying to differentiate a set of big cats, you might note that some are brown, some are black, some have strips, some have spots, some have long tails, some have short tails, and so on. These are the examples which you can use in making the dichotomous key. Step 2. Look for principle of exclusion. A dichotomous key works by the process of elimination. So you want to note the characteristics that can be used to differentiate the things you are examining. For example, if some of the specimens you are looking at have feathers and some have fur, then feathers is a good distinguishing character. However, a trait of the animals share is not a good distinguishing character. For example, since all big cats are warm-blooded, you wouldn't use that trait on your dichotomous key. If you are having a group of organisms and you want to identify them, and all the organisms of that group are warm-blooded, then how can you make the contrasting pair of that particular group? For example, if you write warm-blooded or cold-blooded, then obviously all your organisms are warm-blooded, then all the organism will be written under the warm-blooded, and you will have nothing on your contradictory statement. So always choose the characters that make the contradictory statements, like feathers present, feathers absent, fur present, fur absent, or legs are present or legs are absent. So make the contradictory statements, because obviously we have to eliminate one and accept the one character. The last step is determine the most general characteristics. How we can determine most general characteristics? You want to create a dichotomous key based on increasingly specific differentiations. So you will have to order the characteristics of your specimens from general to specific. Like in the previous slides, I have told you that if you want to make a dichotomous key for kingdom Animalia, then your first character will be vertebrates or invertebrates. So vertebrates and invertebrates is a general term because it is having a large group of organisms. So just like the taxonomic categories that we have discussed in our previous lectures, which are kingdom, phyla, class, order, family, genus and species. In those taxonomical levels, we also run from general to specific level. So here also we are first of all we are making the key by considering the general characters and then move to the specific one. This will help divide your specimen even smaller groups. For instance, when making a dichotomous key for big cats, you may find that some of the cats you are analyzing have dark fur and some have light fur. You may also see that all of them have short hair. Finally, you see that some of them have long tails, but some of them have no tails at all. You would start your key with a question or statement about the fur color. You would not need to ask a question about fur length, since all the examples have short fur. You would follow up with a question about tail length, since tails are not common to all the cats and therefore are a less general character. So simply first of all list all the general characters which you can see in the organism, and first of all make your key by using the general characteristics, and by using general characteristics you can easily eliminate the undesired organism, and you will lead to the specific one which we want to identify. Now the step 2, that is construct the key. By following the above all discussed things, you can easily construct the key. So in the coming slides we will have the examples of the dichotomous key and other keys. Dichotomous keys are written in two forms. The first one is graphic pattern and the second one is written pattern. In graphic pattern you can use pictures to make the dichotomous key, and in the written pattern you will write all the characteristics or couplets. So let's discuss this graphic pattern dichotomous key. It is about vertebrate classes, and you all know that vertebrates are classified into 5 groups, that is birds, reptiles, amphibia, fish and mammals. So first of all the first couplet which we are having is has fur or no fur. Obviously only the mammals from the vertebrates has fur, so it is written under has fur mammals is written, and no other organism is having fur, so the option no fur is divided into two more categories or into two more choices, that is feathers and no feathers. If the feathers are present, then it will be a bird, and if no feathers are there, then again divide it into two options, that is internal fertilization and external fertilization. If any one of the organism which you are having for identification follows internal fertilization, then it will be from class Reptilia. And now categorize the external fertilization. We have categorized it into gills in adult or no gills in adult. If the gills are present, then it will be a fish, and if no gills, then it will be a amphibian. So like this you can make the dichotomous key by making the contradictory statements or pairs. You can easily identify the unknown organism. In this key we were suppose that you were having 5 different organisms, and you just know about them that these are vertebrates, and you want to classify, you want to get identify that which organisms belongs to which class. So by making these possible characteristics possible and easy physical characteristics, we have identified the we have identified and classified the 5 different groups of vertebrates. So this is the dichotomous key in the written pattern. Okay, in some of the dichotomous keys we use questions, and we can answer those questions by saying yes or no. So here you are not having contradictory statements, instead you are having questions and you can answer them in the form of yes or no. So at number 1 the question is, do you have a backbone? If yes, then we have to move on number 3, and if no, then you are an insect, because insects do not have a backbone. And then we have to move on number 2. Number 2 is about, do you change or metamorphosis from a caterpillar to the adult form? If yes, if the process of metamorphosis is there, then it will be a butterfly, and if no, then it will be a grasshopper. In this way you have recognized or identified the insects. One was butterfly and one was grasshopper. Now move to the question 3, that is, do you have gills and scales? If gills and scales are present, if the answer is yes, then it will be a fish, and if the answer is no, then we have to move on number 4. Number 4 is, do you lay eggs? If yes, then we have to move on number 5, and if no, then we have to move on number 10. Okay, look at number 5. Do you have feathers? If yes, then it will be a bird, and if no, then we move to number 6. Number 6 is again about eggs, that do you lay eggs in water? If yes, then move on number 7. Number 7 is, do you live on land but come back to water to lay your eggs? If yes, then wait for number 9, and if no, then you are a pickerel frog. Then on number 8 we have the question is, do you have a protective shell? If yes, then you are a turtle, and if no, then you are a snake. On number 9 we have, do you have lots of body bumps and no tail? If yes, then you are a toad, and if no, then you are a newt. Then move to number 10. Are you a carnivore? If yes, then it will be a fox, and if no, then move to number 11. Are you an omnivore? If yes, then it is a raccoon, and if no, then we have to move on number 12. Are you a rodent? If yes, then it is a squirrel, and if no, then it is a moose. Dear students, in the previous slides we have discussed about the dichotomous key and its construction. Now we are going to discuss about the types of dichotomous keys. Dichotomous keys are divided into 2 categories or into 2 types. The first one is indented key, also called yoked key, and the second one is bracketed key. Indented key indents the choices of the couplet an equal distance from the left margin. The two choices of the couplet are usually labeled 1 and 1 dash or 1A or 1B. Here we have an example of the indented key, and we have also discussed this in our previous lectures. The very first couplet which we have is that organism is on A, that is organism with only cell, and the second statement of this couplet is on double A, that is organism with one cell. So at A we have divided it into two more categories, that is B and double B. B is no nucleus and double B has a nucleus. If no nucleus, then it will be from kingdom Monera, and if there is nucleus, then it will be from kingdom Protista. Then on the organism with more than one cell, we have two more categories, that is autotrophic or heterotrophic. If the organism is autotrophic, then it will belongs to kingdom Plantae, and if the organism is heterotrophic, then again we have two categories or one couplet, that is mobile and immobile. If it is mobile, then it is from Animalia, and if it is immobile, then it's from fungi. And we have discussed also that this indented key is making that there is a different style to write the indented key. Like in the dichotomous key, we can draw the key in a branching pattern, or by writing them by giving the number simply. But in the indented key, when we are writing our couplets, then we indent the couplet from the left hand margin. As you can see, this B, the second couplet, you can see that it is indented from the left hand margin, and the purpose of the indentation is to prominent or highlight the key and the couplets. The second type of dichotomous key is bracketed key. It provides both choices side by side. The choices of the couplet must be number or lettered. The choices are separated, but it is easy to see the relationship. While this key might be more difficult to construct, it gives more information to the user. As the name bracket is suggesting that in this key, brackets will be used. It's up to you that you want to categorize your couplets by giving them alphabets or numbers. It's up to you, but the compulsion is that we have to use the bracket in this key. So let's read its example. Number 1, external ears are present, external ears absent. If the external ears are present, then move to number 2, and if external ears are absent, then move to number 3. Okay, on number 2 we have the options are, or leads are, wings present or wing absent. If the wings are present and external ears are present, then it will be a bat. And if wings are absent but external ears are present, then it will be a cat. And you can see that, and this is our number 2 couplet, and with the number 2 in bracket 1 is written. It means that this couplet belongs to number 1, or we have derived or make the choices of this couplet from number 1. Okay, now see on number 3. Again you can see that with number 3 in the bracket 1 is written here. It's again showing the relationship of this third couplet with the first couplet, because as you can see in the first couplet, in front of external ears absent, it is written number 3, means number 3 and number 1 couplets are linked with each other. Okay, wings present, if the wings are present, then it is a pigeon, and if the wings are absent, then we have to move on number 4. On number 4 you can see in the bracket 3 is written. It means that this couplet is derived from the third couplet, and it is connected with third one. Possess limbs, if the limbs are present, then it's a frog, and if the limbs are absent, then we have to move on number 5. And you can see with number 5 in the bracket 4 is written. It means that this last couplet, that is fifth couplet, it is related to number 4, or it is derived from the fourth couplet. That is possess gills. If the gills are absent, then it is a fish, and if gills are absent, then it is a snake. Now the second type of second type of taxonomic key, that is polyclave key. Polyclave keys are tools used to help identify unknown objects or species. The keys are generated using interactive computer programs. Means in the formation of or in the construction of polyclave keys, we use computer programs. So you can say that this is a computer-based key. Polyclave keys use a process of elimination like the dichotomous key. The user is presented with a series of choices that describe features of the species they wish to identify. The user then checks off a list of character states present in the organism they wish to study. The program looks to match the character states with all the species they can possibly match. If a species does not have the character state, it is eliminated from the list. The more states listed, the more species that are eliminated. So by using the computer, we can compare the choices which we have made, and we can compare them with the other species, and then we can identify our organism. This allows the rapid elimination of large number of species that the specimen cannot be. The process continues until only one species remains. This allows the user to eliminate loads of potential species and identify the species, or at least a short list of possible species. Just like dichotomous key, we eliminate the species, the undesired species at each step, and in the last we will have our desired identified organism or species. If all went well and the key fits your group of organism, that is the name of species you have located. Means if you have made the key very well, and at the end you have one organism left, and it is identified in the correct way, then it will your desired organism. Even the best keys have their limitations, so make sure you verify your identification using multiple tools, that is image verification or expert identification. Means you can take the help of these tools to verify your key which you have constructed. This was all about polyclave keys. The difference between polyclave and dichotomous is that in the polyclave keys we take the help of computers programs for the construction and identification of the organism. Some other types of taxonomy keys. There are 6 more types of taxonomy keys, that are circular key, serial key, branching key, box key, pictorial key, and computer key. Let's discuss them. Number 1, circular key. This key is meant for small groups. It is quite useful for non-specialists or non-taxonomists for quick identification. To read a circular key, you first start in the middle of circle and work your way outwards. As you go, you will choose one of the given options at each layer. This type of key is meant for small groups. Means by using this key, you can identify the small number of groups. If you are having large groups, then you can identify them by using dichotomous key or bracketed key, indented key, and polyclave key. But in the case of small groups, circular keys will be used, and these are designed for non-specialist or untrained person. Here we have an example of circular key. As we have studied in the previous slide, that circular keys run from center to the outward direction. So look in the center of this circle, it is written here the animals, and this word is divided into 3 possible categories. lives on land only, lives in water only, and can live on both land and water. So first read its one category, that is can live on both land and water. If it is commonly found in Australia, then it's a frog, and if not commonly found in Australia, then it's a salamander. Then see its second option, lives on land only. If the animal lives on land only, then it can be a elephant, it can be a spider, and it can be a tiger. Now look in front of the elephant. We have two choices or one couplet, that is big ears or small ears. If the ears are big, then it will be an African elephant, and if the ears are small, then it is an Indian elephant. Then look in front of the spider, black body, hairy body, or multicolored. If the body of spider is black, then it can't kill or it can kill. If it can't kill, then it's a black house spider, and if it can kill, then it is a funnel web spider. And then see on the second option of spider, it is hairy body. If the spider's body is hairy, then it's a tarantula. Now the multicolored, you can see that the couplet in front of multicolored is mainly green or mainly black. Mainly green colored spider will be identified as flower spider, and mainly black colored spider will be identified as redback spider. Now see in front of the tiger, extinct or not extinct. If the tiger is extinct, the particular species is extinct, then it is a saber-toothed tiger. Otherwise it's an Indian tiger. Now the other option of animals is lives in water only. If the animal lives in water only, then obviously it can be a fish, it can be an cnidaриan, it can be an octopus. Now see in front of the fish, we have three possible categories: bony fish, cartilaginous fish, and jawless fish. If the bony fish, if the specimen is of bony fish, then it will have large striped fins and small fins. If the organism is with large striped fins, then it's a lionfish, and if the organism is having small fins, then it's a bream. Then look at in front of the cartilaginous fish. The first couplet is eats people, does not eat people. If the cartilaginous fish eats people, then it's a tiger shark. Otherwise it's a whale shark. Now see in front of the cnidaria, we have three options: hydra, coral, and jellyfish. And see in front of the octopus, we have two options. If the octopus is poisonous, then it will be identified as blue-ringed octopus, and if it is non-poisonous, then it will be categorized as common octopus. Number 2 is serial key. In the serial key, we will have serial numbers with all the statements of the key. In the previous keys, you have noticed that we just give one number to one couplet, but in this we are giving numbers to each and every statement. So let's read it. Number 1, abdomen shorter than thorax. As you can see that with 1 in bracket 4 is written, it means that we have to move on number 4. Now see in at number 4, in the bracket 1 is written, it means that 1 and 4 links or relates to each other, or it's a first couplet, that is abdomen longer than thorax and abdomen shorter than thorax. Now look at the abdomen shorter than thorax. It's divided into two categories, that is head with 2 horns and head without horns. And you can see that with 2 3 is written, and with 3 2 is written. It means that these two statements are linked with each other, or this is one couplet. Okay. And if your organism is with head with 2 horns, then it will be identified as species A1, and head without horns will be identified as species A3. For this type of key, first of all, suppose that you are having a group of species, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 and A6, and we are identifying the organism related to each species. Now look at number 5. With number 5, number 8 is written. It means that it's the second statement of this couplet is written on number 8. Number 5 is thorax with spine and number 8 is thorax without spine. Number 5 is categorized into the two possible options, means one couplet, that is on number 6, thorax with single spine and thorax with two spines. If there is single spine, then it belongs to species A2, and in the case of two spines it belongs to species A5. Here you can see that with number 6 number 7 is written, and with number 7 number 6 is written. It means that these both links to each other and it's a one couplet. Now move on number 9, head with yellow band and head without yellow band. Here you can see 10 is written with 9 and 9 is written with 10. It means that these both are relates to each other and it's a couplet, it's one couplet. So if your organism is head with yellow bands, then it's belong to species A4, otherwise it's belong to species A6. The third type is branching key. A branching identification key is a presentation form of a single access where the structure of the decision tree is displayed graphically as a branching structure involving lines between items. Depending on the number of branches at a single point, a branching key may be dichotomous or polytomous. So what is the branching key? In the branching key, the key will represent in the form of a branching structure. Okay, and obviously to connect the branches there must be lines between the statements, and at each step how many branches you are making, it depends on you. If there are two branches, then it can be a type of dichotomous, otherwise it will be a polytomous, means many branches. Here we have an example of branching key. The first couplet is legs and no legs. If the legs are present, then it is divided into two categories, that is 6 legs or more than 6 legs. If 6 legs, then the next couplet is wings with covers and no wings or covers. If wings are covers, then it's a beetle, and no wings or covers, then it's an ant. Then on the other hand, more than 6 legs if there are 8 legs, then it's a mite, and if more than 8 legs, then it's a millipede. Now on the under the no legs, the second couplet under the no legs is shell and no shell. If the shell is present, then it's a snail, and if there is no shell, and the next couplet is segmented body or body not segmented. If the body is segmented, then it's a earthworm, and if the body is not segmented, then it's a slug. Fourth type is box key. Like the branching and circular key, this key is also meant for small groups. It is quite useful for non-specialists or non-taxonomists for quick identification. Here you can see that this key is written in the form of a box. That's why it is called as a box key. And to read the box key, we start from the bottom and moves upward. So look at the bottom of this box. The first couplet is organism with only one cell, organism with more than one cell. In case of organism with only one cell, the second couplet is no nucleus and has a nucleus. If no nucleus, then it is from kingdom Monera, and if nucleus is there, then it's from Protista. Then see on the second statement of the couplet, organism with more than one cell. If the organism with more than one cell, then the next couplet is autotrophic and heterotrophic. If the organism is autotrophic, then it will be identified as a plant, and if the organism are heterotrophic, then the second couplet is mobile or immobile. If the organism is heterotrophic and mobile, then it will be identified as an animal, and if it is immobile, then it will be identified as fungi. Number 5. Pictorial key. Pictorial key are of special significance. It is especially meant for field workers and non-taxonomists that can identify the commonly occurring species with the help of characters together with their figures in a comparative manner. Means in the pictorial key, the figures with the characters can also be used. The critical characters are illustrated and described in such a way that can be used by non-technical persons, engineers, as well as entomologists. These keys have also been employed as field guides to higher taxa, vertebrates, and flowering plants. Means we can use these keys also for the identification of higher taxa, vertebrates, and other flowering plants. The use of pictorial keys in practice should not be to identify a specimen but to say what a specimen is not. In other words, they are best used as a process of elimination. Like all other keys here, also the process of elimination is also applicable here. This is an example of a pictorial key, and you can see that images are given with the characteristics. So let's read it. It's about this pictorial key is about woodland mini beast. Okay, so the first couplet is no legs and legs. If no legs, then the next couplet is shell and no shell. If the organism is having shell, then it must be a snail. And you can see the picture of snail is also given. And if there is no shell, then the couplet is segments or no segments. If segments, then it will be a worm, and if no segments, then it's a slug. Now look at the legs. Look at the character legs. If there are 6 legs, then it will be an insect. That can be beetle, aphid, weevil. And if there are 8 legs, then the couplet is body in one part, body in 2 parts. If the body of organism is divided into 2 parts, then it's a spider. And if the body is in one part, then it's a harvestman. Then if organism is with 14 legs, then it's a wood louse. And if over 14 legs, then the couplet is 1 pair of legs per segment, it's a centipede, and 2 pair of legs per segment, then it's a millipede. So it's a very easy key for the identification by the non-taxonomist or non-specialist person. And the plus point of this key is that the pictures or figures are also given here, so it's very easy to understand and to read this key. The last type is computer keys. In recent years, computer technology has been used for constructing dichotomous or other type of taxonomic keys, and running such computer keys is far easier than running the non-computer keys. So we can also use the computer for making the taxonomic keys or dichotomous keys, and it is and to use the computer in the construction of keys is a easier process than writing them on the paper or to make the non-computer keys. For constructing computer keys, other pieces of information, figures and photographs can be fed in the computer, and by using appropriate programs can be designed. It means that you can add the figures, photographs and information, and any prominent or particular information related to the organism which you are identifying, you can written over there. Means you can write extra information also. It is easier and less time consuming to compare the characters of the unknown taxa with the characters of the known taxa using the computer. Means by using computer keys you can also compare the characters. Apart from this, Delta description language for taxonomy is a useful system of programs for recording taxonomic descriptions for processing by computer. The Delta is a system that is used for recording the taxonomic descriptions.
There's a lot of birds in our world, and if you were asked to identify a bird based on its characteristics, you could probably do it. We could probably name the hummingbird, the owl, the duck, and the penguin based on its features. But if you were asked to name these birds using their scientific name, the task wouldn't be so easy. You wouldn't know the scientific name of these birds just by looking at them. Scientists have figured out a way to make a chart to help you better identify birds based on their characteristics. The chart is called a dichotomous key. Reading a dichotomous key is easy. Take a look at the hummingbird. To use a dichotomous key, start at number 1. At number 1, it's asking us to observe the feet of the bird. A hummingbird does not have webbed feet, so we'll go to step 3. Step 3 has us examine the bird's tufts. Our bird does not have tufts. We just figured out the scientific name. Let's try the dichotomous key again with a different bird. This time we have the penguin. Start at number 1. Our bird has webbed feet, so we're going to have to go to step 2. Step 2 has us count the number of toes. A penguin has 4 toes. We just figured out the scientific name of the penguin. Using the same chart, we can figure out the scientific name of the duck. Starting at number 1, we see our bird has webbed feet, so we'll go to step 2. We have to count the toes. The duck has 3. We just figured out the scientific name again. Lastly, an owl. Always start at number 1 on the dichotomous key and look at the features of the organism you're trying to identify. Our bird has tufts. This is its dichotomous key's scientific name. Dichotomous keys, charts that scientists use to figure out the scientific name of organisms or to help identify footprints. Dichotomous keys.
Dichotomous keys are something you'll find yourself using a lot in biology. A good example of how they're used is maybe you're looking at a picture of an organism and you want to find out what it is. Keys help you to identify a species. Here's an example of how a key might work. You're given 4 different organisms and you want to identify what the name of each one is. We've got an answer grid here, we just want to write the type of bird for A, B, C and D. The key looks something like this. It does look complicated, but it's actually really simple to use. Let's start by trying to identify organism A. We start at part 1 and we say it has yellow feathers or no yellow feathers. If it has yellow feathers, we can see that it's called a weaver. In this case that's not true, I would say no yellow feathers, so we go to 2. Part 2 states the beak is red. If it is, we go to 3. If the beak is grey, we know it's called a babbler. In this case, I think the beak is red for bird A, so we move on to 3. If the beak is straight, we can identify this as a kingfisher. If it's curved, we identify it as a hornbill. You can clearly see in photograph A that the bird has a very curved beak, so we write hornbill for A. We've identified the first one. We can continue like this for the rest of them. If we want to identify B, we can look at part 1 and say it has no yellow feathers, so we go to 2. Does it have a red beak? Yes it does, so we go to 3. Is that beak straight? Yes, so it's a kingfisher. If we go on to C, does it have yellow feathers? Well, this one's the easiest one to identify because yes it does have yellow feathers, so it's called a weaver. If we look at part D, does it have yellow feathers? No. Does it have a red beak? No. Does it have a grey beak? Yes, so we know this one's a babbler. There is another way that these keys can be laid out. It's just a question of using arrows and answering with yes or no statements. Let's use organism B as an example of how to use this type of key. We start at the top, has yellow feathers. Well, organism B does not have yellow feathers, so we follow the no arrow. Does it have a red beak? Yes, we follow down the yes arrow. Is that beak curved? No, it's actually straight, so we follow down the no arrow. when we arrive at Kingfisher. We've identified it the same way we did in the first exercise, it's just a slightly different method of using the same tool.
Thank you very much. It was all about today's lecture about the construction of keys.